Hi, this is Scott with eTrailer. Today we're taking a look at and installing the Blue Ox Class 3 hitch for 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee L. The Blue Ox hitch we have on our Cherokee today is a really good option for people that want to pull a small trailer, or maybe you have a bike rack that you want to load up with all your bikes, or maybe even a cargo carrier loaded down with a bunch of gear. This hitch is going to have a really high tongue weight capacity, so it's going to hold your really heavy e-bikes or your cargo carrier loaded down with a generator or a bunch of your camping gear really easily. One of the things I like about this one is it's going to have a really high clearance as well, so you really don't have to worry about having rise in the shank of like your cargo carriers or your bike racks for clearance. It's up pretty high, so you won't have any issues with that. Another thing I like about this one is how you're able to cover it up when you're not using it. So the cover on your Jeep, it just goes right on and it works with your hitch. So all you have to do when you're done towing or hauling your bike racks around is put your cover back on, and it hides your hitch, and it also protects it from any kind of moisture or any kind of sun fading. So that's a really nice feature with these, and it brings your Jeep back to a factory looking appearance. One of the nice things about this hitch as well is it is going to come with this bracket. This bracket's going to mount right up under here, so if you have a 7-pole or maybe you just want to put your 4-pole wiring there, that is an option with these. One thing I will say to keep in mind of is once you do install this, it is going to give your cover a little bit of a problem going back on, especially if you put on a 7-pole. That's going to make your 7-pole wiring hang way down, and you may not be able to reinstall your cover. This hitch is going to accept your standard 5/8 pin, so that's going to go in, and that's going to hold any of your accessories in place. Now this one won't come with a pin and clip, so you may want to pick one up here at eTrailer. This hitch is going to have really heavy duty welded on chain loops, and it will accept your S style or your clevis style hooks. So either one of those are going to have you set up for your trailer towing needs. As far as measurements go, from the center of the pinhole out to the edge of our bumper, for a measurement, we are looking at right at about 1.5 inches. And that's going to be your measurement you'll want to know. If you have any of your accessories that fold up or stow away, if they'll make any contact with the back of your vehicle. Now from the top of the inside of our receiver to the ground, we're looking at a measurement of right around 22 inches. And with that number, you'll be able to decide if you need a rise in the shank of either your bike racks or your cargo carriers for clearance. As far as weights go for this hitch, we're looking at a tongue weight rating of 1,125 pounds. That's going to be the weight of your bike rack loaded down with your bikes, or your cargo carrier loaded down with all of your gear. Now that is a really high tongue weight rating, so you should be able to haul as many bikes on there as you want without having any issues at all. And for our gross trailer weight rating, we're looking at a weight of 7,500 pounds. That's going to be the weight of your trailer and everything that you have loaded on that. Now this will be capable of weight distribution, but those numbers will stay the same. Now keep in mind, it's always a good idea to take a look in your owner's manual and make sure you don't exceed any of your maximum towing capabilities listed in your owner's manual. So it's usually a best bet to go with the lowest number between your hitch and your owner's manual. Now if you have any questions or comments about this hitch for your Jeep Grand Cherokee L, feel free to get a hold of us here at eTrailer. One of our experts would be glad to help you out. Or you can leave a comment down below in the comments section if you already have this hitch or you plan on getting it. We'd love to see any pictures or any comments that you have about this one for yours. As far as installation goes, this one you will have to take the rear fascia off to get this one installed, so it can be a little bit tricky, but it's something you can definitely do yourself as long as you follow along with the instructions. If it's something you don't have time or the tools to do yourself or the space, you can always take a look at our dealer locator and get something done for you locally. If it's something you want to tackle yourself, stick around, watch our video, and we'll help you get it installed. To start our installation, we're going to have 4 10mm bolts underneath of our fascia. We're going to need to get removed. I'm just going to remove those with a 10mm socket. Now behind our fender well, we're going to have some 8mm screws we're going to need to remove. So what I'm using is just this angled thing. You can use a handheld style, whatever you can. You can either use an 8mm socket or a Phillips head. So whatever one helps you get them out easiest will work. Now we'll need to pop off our trim. Just kind of carefully pull back at the bottom and just kind of start working your way up. Once we get up to the top, we're going to have a white clip, and the easiest way to get those off is you feel behind your panel. There will be a plastic clip, and if you just squeeze those in together, it makes it a little bit easier. And we just need to get this pulled back. So I'm going to push in 2 more clips. Now here's those little clips I was talking about. You can see it has 2 little tabs, and once you push them in with your fingers, that's going to release it. This just goes into a hole and then clips into it. Now that I have those undone, I'm just going to take a rag and just stuff that in behind that. That's going to help keep our trim away from our panel. Now we'll move on to our next step, which would be this 10mm bolt behind each one of our trim pieces. I like to use a ratcheting wrench. Usually after you get it broke loose, they come out pretty easy. Then you just get them worked out with your fingers. You could use a short socket, whatever you need to get that done. If we pull our inner fender liner back, if we reach back, there's going to be an electrical connection on each side. It's going to have a little gray tab. We just want to pull that tab back, and it's hard to see, but then we'll just push down on the tab, then pull out on our plug, and that will disconnect it. Here you can see where that tab is that I was talking about. Just need to pull that back and then push it down. We have our hatch open now, and one of the things we're going to need to do is get these 2 plastic panels out, and we're going to be able to access the screw to get our tail lights out. So we're going to have this little push pin. So we can get up underneath of that. And I'm just going to use my trim panel tool and get up underneath of that. And once you get your tool up under there, pull back on that, and that will pop out. Now we can just take our plastic panel, pull back, pop that out of the way. We can take a T30 star bit, and we'll just undo the screws on both sides. Once we do that, pull over on our tail light and just get that popped out carefully. Now that we've done that, come back through. We're going to have our plug in behind it, pull back on that tab, push down on the plastic tab before it, pull that out, and now we can get our housing out of the way. Down from where our tail light is, we're going to have this little round plastic cover. We need to get a little pick or something in behind that. Just want to pop that out, and behind there we're going to have our 10mm screw on both sides. We'll just get those removed. For our next step, we can start removing our fascia, and what we're going to do is just work our way along. This one's popping loose pretty easy. As you can see, I do have some blue painter's tape on here just to make sure we don't scratch anything as we're removing this. Now that we have it all popped off, sometimes they will fight you along this back area here. Ours came off pretty easy on this one, so now I'll just take my fascia and set it off to the side out of the way. To give myself a little room to get at my hardware on the side of where my hitch is going to go, I'm going to support my exhaust and get it held up. I'm just going to take a cam buckle strap and get that put in place. And I'll tighten that up against my exhaust. Now I'm going to need to remove 2 different exhaust hangers. I'm going to have one down here a little lower and then one up over here on the side. So I'm going to undo this lower one first. With a 13mm socket, I'm just going to remove the bolt that holds on our hanger. exhaust hanger on the side is going to have 2 bolts. We'll just go ahead and get those removed. With our hardware all out, now I'll just loosen up my cam buckle strap while I'm holding up on my exhaust and let that down a little bit. That's going to give me some room to work. With the 21mm socket, we're going to just go around on each side. We're going to have 3 bolts we're going to need to remove. So we're just going to go ahead and get those broke loose. Once we get down to our last bolt, make sure you're holding in your bumper beam, because if you just take this out, it probably will fall out on you. With all of our hardware out, we can remove our bumper beam. One thing I do recommend when we do this is make sure you clean out the inside of your frame channel. You don't want any rocks or debris in there. That way you're going to have a good flush fit when you get your hitch installed. So I already got those cleaned out on both sides. Now I'll just come back through and make sure I have all my hardware in place that I'm going to need. Now I'll just get my hitch slid into the frame channel. Now what I want to do is just loosen up my spare tire. I don't want to take it all the way out, but I'm going to loosen it so it gives me a little room to move it around when I get my hitch in place. So what I did is I have this rod. Now you could use your factory rod. That'll allow you to lower your spare tire down. But what I did is I just used this rod that I have that's actually for this. And I'm just going to back it off just a little bit, just enough to where I can get it to move for me. Now that I have that loosened up, I'll go ahead and get my hitch bolted into place. There's a couple different ways you can get your hardware in place. You can either use a fish wire that comes in your kit, but for me, I'm able just to get my hand in there. So what I'm going to do is drop my carriage bolt into place, and I'm going to take a washer, a washer and the nut. Let's get those started. I'm going to do my lower ones first. I'll do that on both sides. And that's going to hold my hitch in place for me. Now just to show you what we're doing here, the inside of our hitch is going to have squares in it. So what we're doing is we have the square shank around the side of our carriage bolt, and we just want to line that up with that square in through our hole, and I'm able to do that by hand. Then we're going to take a washer and our nut and just get that threaded down finger tight. It's a 3/4 inch socket, and I just want to snug down the ones underneath. That's going to help level out our hitch. Do that on both sides. I'll come back through and snug down the ones on the side. After we have all of our hardware snugged down, we'll come back through with our torque wrench and get everything torqued down to the specifications listed in our instruction manual. Now, if you don't have a torque wrench, you can pick one up here at eTrailer, or you could take a look at your local auto parts store. You should be able to rent one there. With everything torqued down, we're going to go ahead and get our exhaust put back in place, our spare tire back up, and normally we would go ahead and get our fascia put back in place, but we're going to go ahead and do our wiring for this one. We're going to do 4-pole wiring on this one today, and this is a really good point to do that. It really makes it a lot easier. So I always recommend, if you're doing your hitch, you might as well go ahead and do your wiring at the same time. And that was a look at our Blue Ox Class 3 hitch on our 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee L. I'm Scott with eTrailer, and thanks for watching.